The genetic factor is playing extremely important role. When we consume an antigen, it depends on our genes how that antigen is going to be broken to pieces. And if that antigen is broken to small peptides and then bind to special molecule in that individual, only that individual is going to make antibody against milk. So therefore, if there is a history of type 1 diabetes in certain families, I highly recommend not to consume milk that will prevent the development of type 1 diabetes in those individuals or relatives of those individuals.
So what about the breastfeeding and the weaning of the infant? How would they get?
No, in fact, the breastfeeding is completely different. I'm talking about cow's milk in this case.
Only.
Okay. In fact, breastfeeding is going to prevent the child from having autoimmune diabetes. In fact, it's recommended to have breastfeeding at least for a 1 year period for those individuals and not to introduce at all cow's milk or other formulas.
At all, ever?
Yes.
For type 1 diabetes?
For type 1 diabetes prone families.
Should avoid cow's milk. And what about cheese and other dairy?
Well, when we take cow's milk included, all those.
All dairy, very
absolutely.
Dairy free for life.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
It's very safe.
That's very interesting. And what percentage of the population, could you give a rough estimate of that actually have this problem with the antibodies against cow's milk?
I would say 1/3.
One third?
1/3. 1/3, but not all 1/3 are going to develop type 1 diabetes. Okay, again, because genetic makeup is very important. We measure antibodies against casein and other components of milk in our laboratories, and we find 1/3 is highly elevated. Now, again, I would like to say not every individual is going to develop type 1 diabetes because of that, because there is genetic makeup and many other factors are involved, whether those antibodies and cells are going to attack our own tissue. So we cannot say that, but 1/3 we detect antibodies, but a small percentage of those also develop type 1 diabetes due to consumption of milk and other dietary proteins.
And are there other factors that precipitate in this subgroup, since it's 1/3 is highly predisposed, what singles out these small percentages? Is it another interaction? Is there another causal factor, an environmental factor, or is it just bad luck with the genetic makeup?
Well, again, I always make the analogy of genetic makeup. It's like a loaded gun. You have that loaded gun in a closet for 50 years, for 20 years, for 5 years, for 10 years. Nothing happened. You need a trigger from the environment. Someone should go to the closet, take out the gun, and pull the trigger. Only in that situation it becomes dangerous to kill someone. And the same thing in the case of, yes, you have genetic makeup, but you need something from the environment, such as casein from the milk, and the antigen from Coxsackie virus to come in play together and to destroy the islet cells in order to induce autoimmune disease. I think that's a very good example. So therefore, interaction between genes with many environmental factors. There are many other environmental factors I don't know about them. Mercury exposure could be one of them. So all of that playing a role together with the gene in order to induce autoimmune disease.